Welcome back, gamers, to another quick look slash review, if you'd like to look at it that way. And today, we're looking at Typoman Revised by Brainseed Factory. And this is NeedtoKnow, and I'm Nico.
I'm Don. Typoman Revised is a puzzle platformer with some interesting wordplay elements, but we'll show you that in just a moment. It is set in a desolate, hostile world, and you are a hero made of letters. Typoman is part platformer, part clever word game, and entirely charming, whether that's from the four-letter hero or the four-letter enemies hate and doom.
And if you pay attention, the four letters that make up your hero actually spells out hero, and I didn't realize that the first time around.
The world around you also reflects these letter changes. You notice there that crush became rush, indicating that it was safe to run across, or rush, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
These platforms say spans, they expand. They say spin, they spin around. I think that's really awesome.
And there are different ways to go about some of the puzzles, as you can either turn things off or turn them on based on the letters and how you choose to spell them.
That's the word game aspect. Like if you spell on a switch, it'll turn the switch on. If you say cut near something that's dangling by a rope, the rope will be cut.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool.
And if you recall just a few moments earlier where Down was put together, that had that huge span of space, later on you'll get the option to move all the letters, and whatever is within that radius will be affected by the word inside of it. So that's also something neat. So if something's supposed to go down, you'll have to shift the entire word to the location. It does get tricky though. You will have options in areas where platforms fall. You'll also have to do some investigation, because there will be quotes that you will have to look for, which are little collectibles. These collectibles will tell you the story.
You can actually read it from the menu in the extras. You have your entire collection of quotes that you've discovered. The quotes are in very obvious places, usually out of the way, and you can immediately tell, oh, I can scale this. This is an alternate path. I might as well take it.
Some words and letters cannot be moved, like gas, for instance. So you have to use your mind and figure out what other words can you make that will help you.
In this case, gasp. Gasp gives you a fresh breath of air so that you can get across this gas-cluttered field. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's something that that you don't think of right away.
Yeah, the puzzles are definitely intuitive, and they're different. I liked that about it. I wish the game had been a little longer so I could enjoy those aspects.
Playability-wise, I used a 360 controller. I found it much easier for me to use. It was responsive. It, did what I needed it to do. But there were times where things wouldn't click right away, or if I clicked something, it didn't respond. So, I mean, it was a little finicky, but not, enough to deter or take you away from the gameplay.
I didn't find that issue. I found everything worked perfectly together. In fact, I really enjoyed the word scrambling aspects, because it was just fun to make words and have them pop up on the screen. There's actually an achievement for collecting words, so
Like you could spell cunt and all other kinds of interesting words.
Horrible words that shouldn't be spelled. And they count. Add them to your dictionary. There's actually a leaderboard, an online leaderboard for people who have spelt the most words. So those of you who like, even if the game takes about 4 hours to complete, even if you aren't into that, for the spelling challenge alone, that might be something you'd look forward to in terms of increasing your game time.
Mm-hmm. And enemies, as you see here, you can't fight them. The only way you can fight them is if you run. So you have to use your wits and take note of your surroundings.
And avoid them.
Yeah, because there's no way to hurt them yourself. And they actually hurt. I think this one will rip your head off, which is a little frightening, but
It's a one-hit kill, but the game isn't quite as brutal as a roguelike would be, so the checkpoints are relatively close. There was never a point when I was like, holy shit, I have to do this entire segment again, and there was a checkpoint 15 hours ago.
Yeah. Those little red lasers that you see over there that have sort of a that's downcast, those are lasers in place where you cannot bring letters. So for instance, you can pick up and throw them. You can't bring them beyond that light, meaning if you see that and you have a bunch of letters that are around you and you can't get them, you need to figure out how to bring them to you and bypass the lasers. And there's usually ways to get around it. You just have to pay very close attention to, you know, your surroundings and see how you can turn them off or shift things around in your favor.
I like how the words interact with the environment. Here it says lair. Other places they'll say gorge. What are the monsters, which is a really cool section. We probably won't show it here. It fits into this gloomy feel. The music is actually fantastic. We'll shut up towards the end of the video so you guys can hear it. It's very atmospheric, very dismal, and I really enjoyed this game. It's currently $12.99 on the Steam store, and I think at a price cut, any price cut really, if you're into spelling games, if you're into platforming, this will be the game for you.
So Typoman Revised is actually, as its name states, a revised version of Typoman. The first one that came out was not very good in terms of controls. It was clunky. It felt, it just did not feel, it didn't feel responsive. And some of the environments were a little unimpressive. So they went back a year later, and here is Typoman Revised, which is much better and fixes a lot of the problems addressed from the original.
So it's always good. A developer that learns from their mistakes will always get positive remarks from us, honestly. Yeah, because we here at NeedtoKnow work with a lot of developers. We give feedback. We try our best to honestly review their games so that they can hopefully make something that everyone will enjoy. And I believe that Typoman is one of those games.
It's a great word game. It's an atmospheric puzzle platformer, and it's clever enough to keep you guessing, but challenge enough to keep you entertained, and fun enough to keep you engaged.
Yeah, so here's to hoping the developer will give us more. Another Typoman Revised 2, or Typoman 2, something catchy. They're the ones working with words. Brainseed Factory, please give us more. We've enjoyed Typoman Revised very much.
Yes, we have.
And we hope you guys will too. Let us know what you thought in the comments. This has been Typoman Revised. Know when and if that happens. We've been NeedtoKnow gamers. Stay in the know.